Hello, everyone. In case you didn't know, you're watching Firearm Fury. Last week, I put out a video of a Browning Bookmark review, and this week I wanted to disassemble it and kind of go through the internal components to see if the quality truly is there. So please enjoy this video of the disassembly.
And disassemble this guy. So take the magazine out. I've already taken it out. Go ahead and check it to make sure there's nothing in the chamber. Nothing is in the chamber. We're clear. If you cock that back all the way, you're going to want to pull that trigger after making sure there's nothing in the chamber to release the tension on the firing pin. First of all, we'll take the bolt out of the barrel. Now, this is one thing that I do not like about this gun is the disassembly. It's pretty simple, but I just don't like the fact that you have to have a tool. There's so many other pistols that you don't have to have a tool to disassemble, so I'd say this is a disadvantage. And the other bad thing about it is that you've got to have two tools to disassemble, not one. So I guess if there was a bad thing about it, I guess that I could handle this. Anyhow, we'll take out this screw for the barrel. Okay. And then you've got to switch Allen heads. So go ahead and put this other Allen bit in there, and then you take off the top rail. And when you take this off, you'll notice there's a little washer on that. Make sure you keep track of that washer. It's kind of cone shaped. That the pointy end of it goes into the goes first into the slide. Go ahead and take off this second screw for the rail. Again, watching for the washer there. Now these two screws are the same size, same length, so they can be put in whichever side for the rail, whichever hole for the rail. It does not matter. All right, we'll go ahead and take this top rail off. Now we'll need to take that barrel off. So go ahead and I hold this the recoil. This is the recoil rod and spring assembly. I hold this, and what you need to do is you need to lift that up so you can slide that feed ramp out from underneath the barrel. Okay, there's the barrel. While it's taken apart, I would go ahead and clean it. I've already cleaned this, so I can set the barrel aside. And now to take off the slide, you just simply need to lift off. But I like to put my finger on the recoil spring and rod assembly so it doesn't pop out. Now there should be a clip on the end of this recoil spring. When I first took it apart, it was fine. It stayed on. When I took it apart the second time, that clip actually fell off, and I lost it somewhere. So I had to get a new clip to put on it. Now that new clip's a little loose, so it wasn't the exact fit. So hopefully it'll stay on there when I pull it off. Anyhow, if that happens to you, I'll show you here in a second how you can fix that. Okay, so to take this off, what I like to do is I like to pull the buffer away from that piece on the lower receiver. Pull it away and pull it up, because there's a piece that recoil rod sticks out a little bit from the recoil buffer here, and it actually goes into this piece on the lower receiver, which kind of holds it all together. So what I like to do is I try to pop that out, And then I'll go ahead and lift. Oh, I just heard it go back in. So just lift that up slowly. Take it off the back, and hopefully everything stays together. If not, what will happen is here we'll go ahead and show you this recoil spring and rod housing just comes out simply like that. So there is a clip. Oh, you'll be able to see it when I pull this buffer off. There's a clip right there. So sometimes that clip will fall off when you're taking it apart. The spring will shoot out, so all you need to do is compress this spring, and I just put a clamp right there, right before where I need to put the clip. And I'll put that clip on, and then I'll slowly release the spring, so that tension will hold the clip on. Okay, so now we've got it apart. We can look at the part. I just oiled it up, so there's a little bit of oil there on top of the rail, a little excess oil. So I can go ahead and wipe off the oil. The only oil you need is just right there on the friction points. And you can see those friction points as there's wear on it. All right, so clean that off. But everything is essentially aluminum here, all good quality. Nothing loose, nothing's loose. Everything's nice and tight. Really well built. And then you can see the frame. The frame is all aluminum there. I oiled this up too, just inside the frame there, just a light film to help with the friction. The only plastic piece is the housing for the recoil rod and spring, and this simply just goes in, just drops in like that. We'll need to get this buffer. Now there's a recessed part in that buffer. That is going to go on the end of that recoil rod. Go ahead and take this out again. Put the recoil rod through that recessed portion. Push it on there to make sure it's on good. And then we'll put this, insert the housing back in. I'll go ahead and stick it on the frame. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to pull this buffer back a little bit. Now try to hold that back while you put it on. And this buffer should be flush. There's a little hole in this post coming up from the lower receiver there, from the frame, and that the end of the recoil rod fits in there to make it snug. So now we'll get the barrel, and just like disassembly, you're going to want to lift this slide up enough to get that feed ramp under there, and then you're going to want to line up the ejector with the little ejection slot there on the barrel. Make sure they go in there, push it down all the way. And then what I like to do is I just like to get this slide on first, the top rail on first. Kind of snaps in there. There's a little piece on the back rail. Get it in there, make sure it's flush. And then all I do is make sure you have these washers on there, and make sure you have Loctite on there. I've already have Loctite on there. And I'll just go ahead and put these screws in lightly, just to keep this rail on. You might have to pull that barrel back to make sure that it's tight against the frame so that the holes will line up. And just go ahead and get these screws started on the rail there. Get this other one in there and started, making sure that we have the washer on there again. Make sure you don't cross thread these or the barrel bolt. That'll be not very fun to deal with. Now we'll go ahead and get this bolt in for the barrel. You're going to want to, again, make sure you have Loctite on them. I've already put Loctite on it. And switch. Then you're going to need to switch your bit out for the larger Allen head and make sure it's in there all the way. Now just make sure that it's nice and easy going in, no friction until you get close to the end there. Now remember, it's just aluminum to aluminum, so you don't need to do it super tight. I just go snug, maybe just a hair past snug, and then I'll go ahead and switch the bit again, and I will tighten down the top rail. So I'll just start on the one and I'll get it till I can start to feel a little friction, and then I'll go and do the other one. And I'll just go ahead and tighten this one down all the way. I just tighten these till they're snug. You can feel to where it kind of is in there all the way to where it's flush and it's not going to move anymore without excess force. And go ahead and snug down this one as well. Good. There you go. That's all there is to it. Cock it back. Make sure it's functioning right. Yep, seems great.
Thank you for subscribing and liking, guys. It really helps the channel out a lot so that I can continue to do these things. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.